What is going on, everybody? My name is Peyton Burton, and I am a driver for White Knuckle Setup Shop and Sub-Zero Sim Racing. And this first episode of the BBC Academy, I will be reviewing my King of Sub-Zero Super Late Model 100 Laps at Knoxville race from last Sunday, where I started third and ended up winning the whole event. This is going to be one of our first episodes on the channel where I VOD review not only my replays, but also I'll have some of you guys who are subscribed. You will have the chance to send me your replay files, and I'll review them live. I'll make a YouTube video about them and help you guys improve. There's three. This is a long race, 100 laps at Knoxville. There's only 7 of us in this race. There is 3 main principles and main keys when going back and watching this race that allowed me to come out victorious in this King of Sub-Zero race. And I'm going to go through all of those, and really, hopefully, by the end of this video, you guys learned something on what my thought process was, what I was thinking about doing, all my moves in this race, and just basically just hopefully you can just take something out of this to either, if you have a long race, maybe it'll help you out. If you have a official race or whatever, hosted what league race, like hopefully you can take something throughout this whole educational video, and hopefully you can improve in your daily racing routine. The 3 main keys I want to talk about. The first key I want to talk about that allowed me to win this race is awareness. Awareness is a big key in longer races. Most people probably think awareness means being aware of where you are on the track or who you're racing with, and although that is very, very true, there's also other aspects of being aware. As we review this King of Sub-Zero race, my awareness of what's happening not only near me, but what is happening in front of me, helped me decide on how I needed to approach this race. I started third in this race and quickly got to second after I followed Jeremy Parker on the bottom to get towards the lead. My original plan was to ride around and save my tires because I knew it was going to be a long race, and I knew I had a car to potentially win this whole damn thing. So saving tires on a long race is definitely important. I didn't want to go too early and risk my tires being completely burned off and really just increase the risk of me messing up. So I decided, I had a lap marker in my head, which was lap 40, when I think I was going to start pushing the pace. But being aware of my surroundings, not only what's happening near me, but what's happening in front of me, my whole decision making, my whole approach towards this race ended up changing pretty quickly. As you guys watch here, we're on lap 6. Around lap 10, we have a caution. Before that caution, Jeremy Parker, who's in the lead, he stretched out to over like a 2-second lead on me. It was pretty clear that he was pushing early, and with only 7 cars on the track, and this being a long race, and I knew track position was going to be very, very important for this race, I decided that it was time for me to push the pace a little bit more. So as I noticed him starting to push the pace more, I started to push my pace a little bit more, just so I can keep him on my eyesight throughout the whole race. That way, I'm still saving my tires, but I'm also keeping a good eye on him. That way, if I feel like I need to push the pace 100%, he's still in my side of view, and I can still potentially chase him down to set myself up to potentially win the race later on. So my approach went from saving early to screw this, I gotta push the pace more because I know what he's doing, and I have awareness of what he's doing, and I have the awareness of what the track's doing itself, the changing of the track. As you can see, Parker is out to like a 2-second lead, around 1.8 second lead. I don't quite remember how far of a lead he got out on me, but I'm still running the bottom. And as you see in my throttle control, we're on lap 14. This is when I really decided I needed to push the pace to keep him in my side of view, because I could not really bank on letting him get out too far ahead and try to bank on a caution. I don't think that's a good strategy, especially when the car field is so low like it was. So I decided to give it more throttle and really try to push myself to keep him on my side of view and not let him get too far out. And luckily, moving on to lap 16 here, we ended up getting a caution, which helped me out tremendously. because I did not want to have to push too early, and I was able to save just a little bit of my stuff, and it really erased his 2-second lead that he had on me. And this is where awareness comes into a big key here. Like I mentioned, lap 16 we had the caution. I'm gonna go ahead and pause it right here. Lap 16 we had the caution. On this restart in lap 17, I knew from what is being aware of what's happening around me and what's happening in front of me, and just watching the track and how it was changing and how I felt like the track was going to change throughout the night. I knew if I wanted to put myself in the best position to win this race, I had to completely switch gears and start to push the pace a lot more than I was originally anticipating on doing. I could not bank on another caution to happen. I could not let him get out to a 2-second lead on me, because if he got on a 2-second lead on me and I was still trying to save, it could have potentially been too late. Even if I was a little bit faster than him, I still probably would have been a lot too late, and he would probably ended up winning if I didn't decide to change my game plan after this caution. So lap 17, coming off of the restart, with all that in my head, I know it's time for me to go. Fast forward to lap 34 here. Even though I was pushing the pace to try to stay on his bumper to bumper, I was still trying a little bit to save my tires. I didn't want to try to get too far out. I didn't want my tires to be, I didn't want to spin my car out and get too sideways and really start to burn up that right rear more than I really have to. I had a good pace going on, but even though I was saving, and it goes back to what I was saying earlier about being aware of what's going on around you and the track changes, I had a feeling later on in the race the track was going to lock down the bottom. With that information, I decided, okay, if I know that track position is going to be very important, let me push the pace here a lot more than I was already doing. Let me try to get the lead, and if I can check out, I check out. But if I can just hold the lead here before it locks down the bottom, and when it does lock down the bottom, then I can just run that line. It will be very difficult for someone behind me to pass me. Then I'll be putting myself in a great position to win this race. So I'm starting to push. I get side by side with Parker here on laps 37. Right here, I finally clear him. I get by him. I take the lead, and I start to make my path to hopefully start to check out. After leading but the last like 18 laps there, we fast forward to lap 55, and I'm starting to search a little bit more. The bottom's not quite there like I want it to, so I started searching around. I started running the top, I started running cut down, I started running the slider. Nothing was really working. Here I go towards the bottom. Parker gets a hell of a run. He starts to reel me in here. I'm still trying to find a different line because you always want to search. Even if you're the lead, you always want to search. Unless it's locked down on the bottom, unless you find rubber. And if that's the case, you usually stay here. Lap 56 here though, Parker gets too overzealous, gets into my quarter panel there, spins me around. To be honest, I don't think, after watching that replay multiple times, I know we didn't do it on purpose, but I don't think that contact should have spun me out. Unfortunate circumstances, it knocked me to the rear, and it knocked him to the rear because he got the EOL for that. And this is where my second key comes to fruition. My second key, and who knows, it might be the most important key that you guys need to listen to, and that is patience. Patience seems to be a big loss around the iRacing community. Learning to be patient is a major key in any race, especially a longer race like this one. The biggest reason I'm saying patience helped me in this race is because after the unfortunate contact between myself and Parker in lap 56, most people in that situation would be angry about that and try to overdrive the car to get back to the front. I didn't do that. There was still over 40 laps left after that contact, sent me and Parker back to the rear. I knew I had plenty of time to get back to the front, and I knew I had a car to get to the front and potentially win this race. So staying patient, staying in the moment, not overdriving the car, not trying to rip the deck out by ripping the cushion, not trying to throw crazy sliders, I took my time. I was patient. I picked my moments. As you can see when I slid Josh there, I could have slid Josh a couple laps before I actually did. But I didn't want to. I didn't want to because I knew it was going to be too close for comfort. I didn't want to put himself in a bad position to where he could rear-end me. I didn't want to put myself in a bad position to where I would slide him, potentially hit Mikey on the way. I had to give some space there, so I was patient. Once I seen my moment, that's when I slid Josh, got the 4th, and now we fast forward to lap 69. After being patient, I found my way, after avoiding the wreck on lap 63, I found my way back in second, starting the outside with over 30 laps left, give and take 30 laps left. I get a terrible restart. I was sleeping on the restart. Robbie did a good job of getting a good start on me. I tried to time it, and it just went just a tad too early, got my car a little bit too sideways. So now I'm starting to hurry just a little bit more, still saving my tires as much as I possibly can, because I knew track position was important, and I didn't want to give Parker a chance to clear me for second. After I cleared Parker, I started to set my sights on Robbie Overstreet, who was in the lead in the 46 car. Trying different lines, I chased him down, kind of running a slider towards the middle, just above the slick, and kind of cutting down a little bit to try to get the most momentum I can. That line was working really well for me, but he was kind of running the same line right in front of me. In order to pass him, I either had to rip the cushion, which I didn't think was there, or I had to run some type of cut down line, or just run the bottom, and that's what I did. I started to run cut down line just to get the run on him, and that was working really well for me. I'm starting to close the gap on him very, very quickly, and then once I get beside him, I can't really run cut down like I wanted to, so I just dove down to the bottom because, like I mentioned earlier, I had a funny feeling that the track was going to lock down the bottom, and that was going to be the fastest lane for the remainder of the race. And this is when it finally happened. It finally locked down the bottom. The bottom was the third fastest line on the track. Nothing really compared to it, and I knew that, so I stuck myself down the bottom before Robbie can do it. And lap 69. Lap 69 when I finally cleared Robbie for the lead, to get the lead back after going from the tail. And the last key I have for y'all, maybe the most important one, and that's throttle control. Having good throttle control will help you out tremendously in any car, but specifically the super late models. There's multiple reasons having good throttle control helped me a lot in this race. One reason that it helped me when it came to saving my tires. Saving tires in a long race like this is very, very, very important. And when you're saving tires, you want to eliminate as much wheel spin as possible, and you want to keep the car straight. And in order to keep the car straight and to not spin your tire or not spin the wheels, you gotta have the good throttle control. You gotta roll in and you gotta roll out of the throttle. And that seems to be a big missing component in a lot of drivers, especially when they try to race the super late models. You can't get these cars sideways off the exit. You can't. If you get the car sideways off the exit and you expect to be fast, you're not going to be fast. It can even take a tenth, maybe 2/10 off of your time just because you're too sideways on exit. The biggest reason people lose speed or have quote-unquote no drive out of the exit is because, like I mentioned, they're too sideways coming off the exit. You need to keep your car straight coming off the corner to maximize your exit. Every time I ran the bottom or anytime I tried to run a cut down line, my car was completely straight coming off the exit. And in order, I'll change camera view here. I'll go to my cockpit here. Keeping the car straight. You want to know how you keep the car straight? If you go back to after this turn steering forward, look where my car is pointed. And I'll slow it down here for you. Look where my car is pointed. I'm holding the throttle, I'm keeping there. Boom. My car, I don't know if you can see my cursor now, my car is pointed basically towards the fans and the grandstands right there. Basically towards the flag man. I'm coming off straight. I'm doing what I need to. And that right there is the reason why I got out to like a 2.5 second lead and why I ended up winning this race. It's not because like we're all on the same setup. I didn't mention that earlier. Every one of us in this King of Sub-Zero race, every single one of us was on the same setup. It was a fixed, custom setup race. So the setup wasn't it. The reason I got out to a 2.5 second lead, it wasn't because of the setup. It's because I was coming off the exit straight as possible, and I was on the preferred line down the bottom, and I had good throttle control. You watch my throttle control here. I barely. Only time I went full throttle is when I was coming towards the corner, just to give it a little extra oomph. After that, I was half throttle. I was 3/4 throttle coming off the straightaway, and the only reason I did that is to keep the car straight. It's okay to slow yourself down if it means you're going to come off the corner straight. That's okay to do, especially if you're running the bottom, or even if you're running the middle. And hell, sometimes when I'm at a door or another track, running the top, sometimes I'll slow my momentum down, not give it too much throttle, that way I can come off the corner straight. Right there, I messed up. Rewind it here. Right here in this corner on the white flag, I messed up. I got a little bit too sideways, gave it too much gas, and I ended up probably lost a 10th and a half on that time right there, just because I just messed up one time because I didn't keep the car straight. Throttle control is something you need to master. You need to get better at it, especially if you want to try to compete in these longer races and potentially in these bigger like official races or bigger league races or even like money races. Like if you're in the super late model and you can take this and you can go to any car and it'll still mean the same, throttle control is mainly the biggest misconception in iRacing. Some people have great throttle control, some people don't. Some people have the talent, but they don't know what the throttle control is because they're a throttle smasher, and all they want to do is just be heavy on the throttle, and that's just, if the track's tacky, yeah, go full throttle. Yeah, be hammered down. Of course, why wouldn't you? Especially at Knoxville in the super late model, of course you should be on the throttle as much as you possibly can. But when the track is slick as this track is right now, full throttle is not the answer. You need to roll in and roll out of the throttle. Remember that. Overall, I hope this video helped you learn something by watching this. Knowing these 3 keys will help you learn how to be faster and keep you in the running for these longer races. And it could honestly translate to some officials as well. As always, if you need one-on-one help, head over to whiteknucklesetupshop.com and book yourself a coaching yourself from myself, aka Blazin Burton's Consulting. Or subscribe to my driving school, BBC Academy, and I'll help you improve your racing skills. That's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoy. If you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. If you want me to VOD review your session with either yourself or just myself in general and help give you tips that way, then I'll be more than happy to oblige you that request. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed. And my name is Peyton, and I'll see you guys next time.